Russia, which killed millions of people to destroy its past. In 2024, Putin declared Russia as a civilisational state. Every society is now coming into its own, and that is the beginning of what can be called civilisational nationalism, and which is spreading in India also. We were all told modernity means only what the West stands for, because the West drew its modernity from the days of Enlightenment, the single source of modernity. But now it is accepted. There are multiple modernities in the world. In 2007, Sebastian Conrad, he was one of the greatest historians, and he came with his thesis that each civilization modernizes in its own way. Japan modernizes as Nihon Jinron. China modernizes as Neo-Confucian society. So nobody wants to adopt one way of modernity, one dress, one language, one way of life. And so India will also modernize in its own way. So this is not what the Indian discourse, Indian media, Indian academics, Indian political parties, or the Indian administrative service speak about. But the fact is, we are also modernizing in our own way. This is a new concept. It is not that the world is becoming multipolar without becoming multi-modern. Modernity has asserted itself in the last 25-30 years. I will give you examples. The post-World War II world order was anti-civilisational. In 1951, the United Nations Measures for the Development of Underdeveloped Nations, which was largely drafted by the United States of America, said that if you want to develop, you have to scrap your philosophy. You have to scrap your social relationship. You have to become part of what the West is for you to develop. And any society which is unable to accept this will have to accept low standard of life. This was an official advisory of the United Nations, on the basis of which policies were being made by all the underdeveloped countries. And there was no difference between the free market society and communists, because both of them hated civilization, and America, of course, had no civilization at all. And so all of them were anti-civilizational according to them. Unless you forget the past, disown the past, scrap the past, hate the past, you can never develop. This was the accepted position in the world, including in India. And China even went to the extent of waging a war against its civilization in the Cultural Revolution. For 9 years, they destroyed everything worth having regarding the past, whether it is Confucius' name, whether it is Buddhism, whether it is any statue or Buddha Vihara. They destroyed everything. But that Chinese Communist Party leader, Xi Jinping, in 2021, when he addressed the centenary of the Communist Party, he said, 10,000-year-old Chinese civilization will guide us today and forever in future, because they have no other identity than to go back to their past. Russia, which killed millions of people to destroy its past. In 2024, Putin declared Russia as a civilisational state. Every society is now coming into its own, and that is the beginning of what can be called civilisational nationalism, and which is spreading in India also.